Isabelle Beaton writes, Dear sons and daughters of AMC MovieTalk, I saw Disney's Frozen when it was in the theaters, and since everything I have seen says it was amazing, I was wondering if you think that Disney will make a sequel. Thanks and keep up the good work.
Whenever a movie makes the kind of insane money that Frozen, trust me, Frozen blew away any expectations that even Disney had. And it continues to make bank. I mean, they're just laughing all the way to the gold mine with this one. Whenever you get a film that makes that kind of money, you have to ask the question, can there be a sequel? Here's what I think, though. Frozen, and everybody knows who watches the show, I adored Frozen. Loved it. But the main strength of Frozen was not its deep, intricate narrative. It was amazingly charming and likable characters, wonderful music in the thing. Just there was a sense about the film that was just so, it drew you in and you just loved it. But it's not like it had these Twin Peaks-like plot points that you were just riveted to the story of what's happening. How will this unfold? And so I don't really know how you make a sequel out of this, even if you want to. Personally, I don't think Disney's thinking about it. I think Disney doesn't look at it as how can we make another Frozen, but rather how can we make another Frozen-type film. I think Disney's going to look very long and hard at the formula they used to make Frozen, and then how to make another film like it rather than making a sequel. But that's just me. Schnepp, you're the president of Disney. What do you do with Frozen at this point? Do you sequelize it or do you not?
First, as the president of Disney, I would have to see Frozen, which I have not. But, the president of Disney right now, maybe he hasn't seen it yet, so I'd be like, hey, kid, all these kids and adults really love Frozen. It's hit something that maybe some of our other releases have not. Let's dissect it. Let's see, let's go point by point. Like, what made Frozen a hit? And then, wrap it around another story. Like, was it like the kind of music that it was? Was it the mix of like, we have a little goofy snowman and real humans in their drama, but the snowman's the comedy relief? I mean, is the Nut Job like Frozen? I haven't seen either of them, but it's like, does the Nut Job have a bunch of songs? Is it going to be a big hit like Frozen? Probably not, So it's like, if you look at hits and how Hollywood, takes certain kinds of movies and then replicates them, but with minor changes and sometimes big changes, but within that it's still kind of the same kind of package that you're redelivering. I mean, that's what as the president of Disney I would look at is like, hey, how can we take this that everybody seems to really like and not just make a Frozen 2, but let's go to Hawaii. You know what I mean?
Frozen 2 could be in Hawaii.
Yeah, coconuts. Yeah.
The person in this room who saw Frozen long before any of the rest of us did is actually Crystal Lee, and I know Crystal Lee liked it. Crystal Lee, would you sequelize Frozen, or would you just let it be?
Saw it 4 times just last weekend. 4. A little bit obsessed, but I don't want to see a sequel, and here's why. I look at one of my favorite Disney films, Little Mermaid. Hands down, one of my favorite Disney films. They made a sequel, not so great. Nobody saw it. The only sequels that have worked are things like Toy Story, and I think when you go with animation, it's a lot harder to make a sequel, so I don't want them to touch Frozen. I want them to leave it just the way it is.
And I think a lot of people would say to that, hey, but Toy Story was sequelized to Monster University. Yeah, but that's the exception. I don't think you can use the exception as your argument. Anyway, Dennis, how would you approach this?
I mean, I liked Frozen. I didn't love it as much as everybody else. But if you look at the numbers, I mean, what is it, $150 million to make? It's made over $700 million worldwide and counting.
And counting, yeah.
Maybe not right away. I could see them doing a sequel further down the line. Just because... Pixar, remember Pixar when they first started, they're like, we're not going to make any sequels. And then slowly it's like, okay.
Well, Toy Story 2 was originally supposed to be a direct-to-home video movie.
Yeah.
I mean, and then they said, hey, you know what, it's actually turned out pretty good. Let's make it a full theatrical thing.
And they made Monsters University, they had a Cars 2, and so I feel like later down the line, Disney is going to make, they're going to make their Wreck-It Ralph 2s, their Frozen 2s, and whatnot.
Friesen, Electric Boogaloo.
Aaron?
It's a no-brainer. If I was the president of Disney, I would have greenlighted this a long time ago. I mean, it's a moneymaker.
Hard not
Bottom
to.
line, they have made so much money off of this movie. We're all familiar with the characters. We like them. We're invested in the storyline. Why not capitalize on that and strike when the iron's hot? I think just from a financial background, I would say absolutely we're going to see a sequel at some point in time.
What's the snowman's name?
See, that's the thing. I think
Olaf?
you have a really good chance of seeing an Olaf and Sven, the moose, or what was he, a moose or a reindeer?
John.
Reindeer. So I think you have there's a chance of like an Olaf and Sven spin-off movie. Maybe.
I haven't even seen Frozen. I want to see that movie.
That could be pretty cool.
And I want to see the sequel to the Nut Job called Nutted.
Oh, wow. If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to AMC Movie News on YouTube. It's free and a great way to stay updated with all the latest movie news and check out our daily show, AMC MovieTalk. Also, don't forget to check us out on Facebook and Twitter to stay in the loop for our special prizes, giveaways, and contests.